go straight to the Flying Eagles camp, where Nigeria advanced to the final of the 2025 WAFU B U20 Championship after edging Niger Republic 4-3 in a tense penalty shootout on Sunday. The semi-final, played at Cape Coast Stadium, ended goalless in regulation time as both teams missed several scoring opportunities in a tight contest. With no provision for extra time, the match went straight to penalties, where Nigeria converted 4 spot kicks to secure victory. The Flying Eagles now await the winner of the second semi-final between host Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire. The final will not only determine the regional champion, but also secure a ticket to the 2025 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations for the tournament winner. All right, updates also just reaching that Nigeria will play Côte d'Ivoire in the final of the competition. But joining us to talk about the Flying Eagles of Nigeria is the editor of SportsIntel.ng, Enitan Obadina, joins us this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for joining.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
All right, Enitan, the Flying Eagles of Nigeria, the new format, the format we're having now are seeing lots of regional competitions to determine who qualifies to the Nations Cup proper and then to the World Cup. But for Nigeria, the Flying Eagles of Nigeria have shown over the last few months that when it comes to Under-20 in Africa, they are a force to be reckoned with, and they've qualified to the final to play Côte d'Ivoire. What's your take on this, despite the game being a tense encounter and leading to penalties?
So the interesting thing about this particular WAFU B Boys Under-20 is just a way for the West African Football Union, led by Nigeria's Football Federation President Alhaji Ibrahim Duso, to try and catch up with the rest of Africa. You know, the likes of COSAFA, the East African region, all constantly have these competitions for their teams, especially the youth team and the women's team, to get them engaged and prepared for the major one, which is the one that will be eventually organized on behalf of CAF, to choose who will represent the region at the African Championship. So this is one of such in trying to prepare the various teams across West Africa. It was meant to be a total package for all of West Africa, but they had to switch it to strictly WAFU B to be able to accommodate the standard they wanted to play. So this was an interesting one. Knowing fully well that Nigeria is preparing for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup later in the year. And you know, sometimes when you have this kind of major event like FIFA Under-20, you usually have clashes between country and clubs, and they try to resolve them. You do not get enough 45 players to help you in the absence of the foreign professionals. But this is a solid opportunity and a good performance by the team, showing that just like taking your word, we are that versatile at the African Under-20 level, especially within West Africa, where we can present 2 to 3 teams at different times to be able to get in and still get the quality result like we have. But here's the 10th game. The Flying Eagles was without their major strikers, and they had to do a lot of shake-up in terms of fighting new ones, but they managed to pull through at the end of the day.
All right, Nigeria against Côte d'Ivoire. I mean, you just mentioned about the regional and how it works, but some are saying the very best of teams in West Africa in WAFU B may not have more of the opportunities. For instance, in a competition where we have Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire, the teams you probably will see if it was before may probably have made it to the Nations Cup, but right about now, I mean, it's not that easy, because of course you get to see that the very best of the best in WAFU B region, you have to get to the finals before you can look at the qualification standard. Do you think that this particular format would help the competition proper in the Nations Cup, or it will bring down the value, knowing fully whether you may not be seeing the very best of teams making it all through the competition, just like what we have with the Women's Nations Cup?
I'm a big fan of when CAF introduced this format. I was not really happy. I'm going to be honest. I'm still not happy with it, because you are basically denying the best of the best from West Africa. Now, every time Nigeria has to go up against Ghana, has to go up against Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Niger, and you see some of these things. If you check the history of the African Under-20 and World Under-20, some of these teams have made it, constantly made it to the world level, where they shine like a million stars for Africa, developing new stars. But back then, to achieve it, you have to play the rest of Africa. But now, it's sort of CAF is allowing WAFU to eliminate itself. It was left to it, WAFU might probably dominate. So it's not really an advantage. But does it reduce the quality of competition in terms of the teams that get to the major CAF Africa Under-20? Not really, because West Africa will always produce top quality. If Nigeria misses out, we are definitely going to get Côte d'Ivoire, we are going to get Burkina Faso or Ghana. So in any way, you are going to get a quality representation from the region. That's the lot they are getting. But overall, for me, it's more about developing the big African nations rather than big African nations, which luckily for West Africa has most of them, at the expense of helping other African regions, talking about East Africa, talking about Southern Africa, to come to that level. So half is sacrificing one for one. That's how I see it.
All right, Enitan will still stick with you, but we're moving straight to women's football, the Africa Women's Cup of Nations.